values will come from only this confusion matrix. Confusion matrix is nothing but you are plotting your actual values versus your predicted values. So for 3 layers, different layers, 18 layer, 50 layer, and 101 layer, we produce different confusion matrices. Right. So at last, our proposal method is compared with already performed research, similar researches. So once you got your results, how can you say it is better result? You have to compare it with your previous research, right? Those who worked on the same database. The comparison table is must for AI based applications, AI based papers, AI or ML or deep learning. Then it may not give the correct predictions. So anyone, if the input is same only, you can compare with your others. If your input is same, your network is different. If your input is different, so it may not a good practice to compare with others. So that is the third task we executed. The first one we discussed is Caesar, and the second one we discussed is kidney stone, and the third one we discussed is COVID-19. And the last, very very important, that is automatic diabetes prediction. The last application we executed is automatic diabetic prediction, right? An effective correlation based data modeling framework for automatic diabetes prediction using, here I have used both machine learning and deep learning techniques. Diabetes prediction. So we know diabetes affecting around 60 to 70% of the population in India. So I have taken Payama Indian data set. So only from Indians only we collected the data set. It is just like a survey. So what are the data set we collected is, just I will show you. Right. So this is my data set. This is my data set with eight different features only. So what are the features is, so this data set is collected only from the female database. So number of pregnancies is the first feature. The second one is glucose level, very very important. So sugar test means we can go with glucose level. That is one of the feature. The third one is blood pressure. And the fourth one is skin thickness, fifth one is insulin, and the sixth one is BMI, and the seventh one is diabetes pedigree, and eighth one is ACE. So total in this data set we have 8 different features. So here from 768 patients, so here the Payama Indian diabetes data set will contain 768 persons samples, 760 by 8 features, 768 by 8 is my feature vector size, 768 by 8. So 768 numbers are there, each is having 8 different features, 768 by 8 is my features. So what I done is I used a data modeling framework. To increase the data. Whatever I can say is to create a duplicate data. So this is not sufficient. 760 by 8, 768 by 8. Suppose if it is not sufficient, so I didn't include the columns, right? Because there are 768 patients. So here my idea is to sorry, last here
చాలా ఉన్నాయి ఫ్రైడే అయితే ఫ్రైడే నాకు పెట్టేసి 16 నుంచి
here my task is diabetes prediction using machine learning and deep learning. So what we published in that paper is whether the person will get diabetic or not, right? So we have collected data from Payama Indian dataset. If you go to the Google and just type Payama Indian dataset, so it is only the female data we collect. We have in their website. It contains only the female database. Those who affected with diabetes and normal. So the data contains both diabetes as well as normal. So total 768 patients. Suppose. So total 768 patients. 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 768. So each patient we have different features. So 8 features I already told you, number of pregnancies, BMI, age, whatever it is. So these are the features. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my feature vector size is 768 by 8. So many researchers are worked on the same data. They got very less accuracy, around 70% or 75%. Not more than that. If you have a machine learning algorithm, if you use the same data, you will get around 70% of accuracy. Whatever you can, whatever you do, whatever the methods you include, it may not increase around 75%. So what we done is, here I have a chance to improve the columns. Rows are fixed, right? Because we may not add the data. So data is given by some person in that website. Some doctors, they produce the data in that website. So what we done is, what our idea is, just to increase the columns. So 768 by 8 feature vector, 768 is fixed, that is number of patients. So we concentrated on this 8. We concentrated on this 8 and we enhanced data in column wise. So row already fixed. So I am concentrating on this 8. I want to improve this 8. So in this research we directly used this 760 by 8, these different algorithms. We have given accuracies for all those algorithms, all those I directly used this 768 by 8. So next we propose a technique that is called as correlation based data modeling framework. Correlation based data modeling framework. Right? So here 768 samples, 8 features, the last column is label. Whether the person is diabetic or not. The last column is nothing but label. So here the first patient, 8 features and his label is diabetic. Second person, his data, his label is normal, suppose. The last thing is nothing but label. Right? So what my idea is, just to improve this 8. If the data set size is increased, then it may produce the better results. That is my idea, first my idea. 768 is already fixed, so I concentrate on this to increase the number of features, data points. So what I done is, I created one correlation map. So if you go to the MATLAB or if you go to the Python, whatever it is, we generated a correlation map, correlation of the future map. So one future is, how one future is depends on the another future. How one future is depends on another future. That is nothing but correlation, the relation between the futures. So here we generated a correlation map, and one future with another future at the same time, one feature with the label. So once you know the correlation with the label, then what you will get? So so ఈ 8 ఫీచర్స్ లో ఏ ఫీచర్ ని మనం వాల్యూ చేస్తే ఈ లేబుల్ మారుతుంది. సపోజ్ ఏ ఫీచర్ తో ఈ లేబుల్ అనేది మనకి కొరిలేట్ అయ్యి ఉంది, హైలీ కొరిలేషన్. Which feature got high correlation and which feature got low correlation, that will be given by the correlation matrix. We generated in MATLAB, or you can use a MATLAB or Python. You have a code, you have a basic code. You just, the data is in Excel sheet or .csv file. You just load it to Python or MATLAB and you just create a correlation map. I will show you the correlation map. See, this is the correlation matrix. Such a number that is called as correlation matrix. 8 futures. One future. How one future is related with another future. We created a correlation map, and similarly, how each future will map on the label. How each future is mapped on the label. So we only concentrated on how each future is mapped with the label. So the last column, That last column will gives you the how your future is correlated with the label. So we have taken only 3 futures. Only that futures we selected. We selected only high correlated futures with the label. We selected high correlated futures with the label. Only that futures we are using to enhance the data, not for all 8. Not for all 8. I used only high correlated futures with the label. I selected only that futures. In this 8 only we selected only 3 futures. Only I will use that 3 futures for creating the duplicate data. Remaining all futures are same. So that is called as correlation based data modeling. Okay. So out of 8 futures, 3 futures are highly correlated. That is BMI as well as your glucose. So very important. The glucose level is changed. Your label may comes from normal to diabetic. If your BMI is changed, your label is may change from diabetic to normal or normal to diabetic. So ఏ ఫీచర్స్ అయితే మనకి లేబుల్ ని డిసైడ్ చేస్తాయో సో ఆ 3 ఫీచర్స్ ని we calculate. So out of 8 only 3 features is giving high correlation. Only I have used that 3 features to create duplicate data. To increase this 8 only I used that 3. That is called as data modeling. In the data modeling we propose 3 techniques. One is statistical modeling and the second one is logical modeling and the statistical modeling, and the second one is relative modeling, and the last one is logical modeling. So in statistical modeling, what we do is we calculated we calculated best 3 statistical parameters, that is mean, median, and standard deviation. We have calculated only these 3 highest statistical measures for all these features, right? So in case of relative modeling, what we done is we got, suppose this feature I got average. So this feature I got average mean. So in case of relative modeling, what I will done is I just subtracted the value with average. So ikkada third feature is having high correlation. I calculated its mean. I subtracted mean from each feature so that it will add one more column. That is called as relative modeling. So I calculated standard deviation. I calculated median. I subtracted original features from these statistical features. That is called as relative modeling. Right? So 760 by 8 into 8 will convert it into 760 by 8 into 11. So 3 different columns added for using mean as your statistical feature and median as your statistical feature, one more 3, and standard deviation as your statistical, one more 3. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 total 9. So now it becomes 768 plus 5 plus 9. So total 768 by 14. Now after applying data modeling technique, my columns got enhanced. So without applying data modeling technique, the future vector size is 768 by 8. After applying data modeling technique, the future vector size is 768 by 14. So that 14 reflected to the high correlated features. Okay, so now my data set is modified. So one is without data modeling and one input is with data modeling, right? So now I have 2 different types of data sets. One is with data modeling and other one is without data modeling. So 768 by 8 is one feature vector size. So after applying data modeling, it becomes 768 by 14. So now I have created 2 different databases for diabetes prediction. So now I will use different algorithms. Now I have used different algorithms. So this is the technique. So that is my methodology and this is my network. So network we have partitioned as 2 groups, part A and part B. So part A without data modeling and part B with data modeling. So I have given accuracies with data modeling and without data modeling. So we got improvements after performing the data modeling technique. So once the future vector size is increased, then only we got improvements in accuracy. So if you observe the paper, you will identify all these. See, I have used 3 machine learning techniques. One is multi-layer perceptron neural network, and the second one is SVM, and the third one is random forest classifier. These all three will have machine learning techniques. These all will reflect machine learning techniques. So we got different accuracies. So without data modeling, we got 75.32%. With the direct what they given in futures, what they given in data set, if I directly given it to the network, given it to machine learning algorithm, we got around 75% accuracy. So with the data modeling, it is changed around 79.87. So 75 to around 80%, almost 5% improvement we got after applying data modeling in neural network. So in case of SVM, it is without data modeling 76.62%, and with modeling it is around 80%. In case of random forest classifier, it is around without data modeling 73.37%, with data modeling it is 82%. So by applying this scenario, we got improvement around 83%. You can check any paper diabetes prediction. There is no such improvement. You can see with direct classification, right? So after performing this data modeling technique, we got improvements around 5 to 6% with and without data modeling techniques. Okay. So this is the machine learning performance. Machine learning classifier performance is given up to 83%. To further improve the classification accuracy, we go to a simple CNN network. We use a deep learning algorithm, and we verified with the data modeling and without data modeling. So once my input is 760 by 8 by 8, and other side my input is 768 by 14. Yes. So these are the classification metrics by using deep learning. So without data modeling, when you use the inputs directly, it is around 88.38%. Our proposed network is given 88.38%. If it is with data modeling, 96.13%. 96.13% accuracy. Overall, we got for Payama Indian diabetes dataset. Okay. If you compare it with similar works, we will identify different classification accuracies. Our proposed work got enhanced performance with around 97% of accuracy with the data model. So this is the recently published paper. It is also taken around 5 to 6 months to publish. It is also SCA Q1 journal by Springer Nature. Okay, we defended around 4 reviews to publish this paper. Okay, so these are the different articles we discussed. We focused on healthcare. The first one is lesion recognition, the next one is kidney stone detection, and third one is COVID-19 detection, and the fourth one I focused is diabetes prediction. So first case and last case we used one-dimensional signals. In the second case and third case we have used two-dimensional images. So one is chest X-ray, the other one is coronal CT scan. Okay. These are the 4 different tasks we executed. So we mainly focused on healthcare. Okay. So now I discuss some points how to publish your research work. So how you will start. Okay. So first of all, if you want to publish your research work, suppose first you have to choose your interest area. So which area you have to choose? Whether it is a communication or whether it is a signal processing or whether it is AML background, first you have to choose. Okay. So then you can think for whether it is hardware or software. Whether you can execute the results in hardware or software. If it is software, you should require programming skills. So what is your software? What is your software skills? Whether you know Python or whether you are familiar with MATLAB or whether you are familiar with Python. Then you can choose the software. Then you can identify the task. suppose if you are interested in healthcare domain, you identify the task, what is the input, what algorithms I have to do, and what is the result. So once it is fixed, you can work on that, and you got some results. You got some results, then you have to prepare the methodology. So how you performed from first step to the last step. So what process it undergone to get this percentage of results, this much of results. What is the process involved in between? That you have to give it in methodology. Okay? So once your experimentation is completed, you have a clear idea of your results, then you are ready to publish your work. Then you have to think of the journal. So the basic requirements I will tell you is, first the title. Title is very, very important. So it reflects your complete work. Title is reflect your complete work. Then prepare your abstract. Prepare your abstract. Don't dump more details on abstract. Just you give a brief overview of your abstract. So first in abstract, first point you can give is your significance of your work. Significance of your work as your first point. Then any limitations in previous research, that is the second point. How the limitations you can overcome, that is your third point. And the fourth point, what techniques you propose, that is the fourth point. And the last point is nothing but what performance metric you improve, whether it is accuracy or reference for what you improve finally, just give it statistical value, just give it numerical value. Your abstract simply contains 5 points. First point is significance of your work, second point is nothing but limitations, and the third point is nothing but how you overcome those limitations in shortcomings only. Don't have more details. And the fourth point is give your proposed techniques, and the fifth point is what performance you improve, just give it as a numerical value. So that you can prepare the abstract. Then you prepare introduction. So you go to the literature review. You just go to the previous works. What are the status of the previous works? From which year to which year the research is going on about the problem. Suppose in 1986 first they started, they used this technique. Okay, first part of your introduction will give you the brief significance of your work. Suppose you are working on COVID-19, just give some details and just give some statistics, some introduction part of your application. Right? Just give some introduction part, then go to the previous works. Just you can go through the previous, that is called as literature. You just write in what happens in the previous research, what improvements they got. If you are interested, you can view the table in introduction section or literature review section. You can just view the table. Who are the authors? What type of database they worked? What techniques they proposed? What is the accuracy they got? What is the limitation of that one? So how that limitation is overcome in your work? Okay. So then at the end of the introduction section, you just give your contribution. So what type of work you done? Give your contributions. Give your author contributions. I have done this, I have done this, we have worked this, we have worked this. Just give a 5-point report at the end of the introduction section, then conclude introduction section with the organization of the paper. Like section 1 contains this, section 2 contains this, section 3 contains this. Right? So that is the end of the introduction. Then the third portion you made to be concentrated is materials and methodology. So what type of data you have taken? Give the brief overview of the data. Right? So then prepare a block diagram. So in each and every paper, I have given a brief methodology of stages of the methodology. So what you done in first stage, what you done in second stage, what you done in third stage, what you done in fourth stage. Give it like a picture, it like a box. I think it like a block diagram. Right? Just you give it's like a block diagram and explain each and every block. If it contains equations or if it contains any statistical model, any statistical expressions, just you can give and you can cite. Next, one more important thing is don't copy anything from others directly. If you reference it from that work, you just give a citation. I have taken this from this, right? You just cite the work of the researcher. So don't copy anything from any other's work. It is that researcher's contribution. It is not your contribution. Don't copy all these things. If you want to use their terminology or their concept, you can just use cite. You just cite the work. You just cite the yes. I have taken this portion from this paper. Don't directly copy or each and everything. If you want to use others concept, you just give a citation. If you use that, you can just give the citation. So that is the introduction section where materials and methodology. You can explain each block. You prepare a block diagram and explain each and every block very briefly, right? Very briefly. So whatever the details you have, how you done entire these things, you can put in those. So that is section number 3, materials and methodology. And the next section is very, very important section, that is experimental results. So in some papers you will have the named as results, experimental results. So in experimental results, initial portion of the experimental results, you just give your software and hardware requirements. So which software you are using? What is your hardware? Which software you are? Just give the software and hardware details in experimental results section. So then give different images. What you got by using all these software. So whenever if you use the software, your simulation results will be pasted in experimental results section. You can explain each and every result very briefly. If you require any table, you just create a table and paste all the results. If you want to show it in numerical, give the tables, give the figures, training figures, testing figures, conclusion matrices. So what you got from your software, all these figures you can paste it in your experimental results section and briefly you can explain all these things. Right? So that is in experimental results section. So at the end of the experimental section, you just prepare a table, compare it with your previous results. So we have in literature section, we have different researchers. They already tried these COVID-19 or these coronal CT scan or this kidney stone or this seizure recognition, whatever it is. You just compare your results with the already existing works. Right? So some researchers, they published a paper in 2020, they got 94.2%, you got 96.2%. Just you use their data, you just cite their work and just you can compare their work with your works. You create a table and compare your works with similar studies or very recent studies. Who worked on the same database or who worked on the same application or who worked on the same model, whatever it is. Right? So that table will give you more chances for getting positive result in publication of journals. So some researchers, they got 94%, I got 97%. So it clearly shows there is an improvement in your work. There is improvement in your work. The last section is nothing but conclusion. So finally you can conclude. I have applied these algorithms, I have taken this database, I have applied these algorithms. I got this much of improvement. You can just inform it in conclusion section and give, if you interested, you can give future directions and also limitations. So some reviewers, they will insist to put limitations. So every work, there is no 100% guarantee. There are some limitations. You can give that limitations in conclusion section and give the future directions, how to overcome that limitation. So I have used this network, I got this percentage of accuracy. I got this percentage accuracy, but my training time is more, suppose. So in future research, you can give some directions how to reduce that computational time. So that is your conclusion section. The last is nothing but reference section. So just now I told you have taken any others work, suppose. I told you to give citation, give the details in your reference section. So each and every work in the reference section will get cited in your body of the text in your manuscript. And one more thing is, cite all your figures, cite all your tables in your main text. Okay, if you do these type of alignments and everything, definitely your paper got accepted in good qualitative reputed journals. Okay. questions to ask?